Ah,
Gosh,
every
I get so
time.
pumped up by that thing.
Every time, Sam, I hear that, I'm like, wow. When it says level 21, I'm there.
Let's go.
What's up?
Welcome back to Crank Up the Leadership. We're finally back. Woo!
Wait.
Gosh, we hope you guys missed us. You know what? I am going to throw up, Restream did like a whole reconfiguration. I don't know how things work. So chat overlay. Boom. Here we go, guys. So excited. So excited. So obviously, welcome back to Crank Up the Leadership. We're finally back. I feel like we've been gone forever, but we missed you guys.
Too long.
Yeah. So just a few little updates. Obviously, we have a friend today. We have a fantastic guest. And we are kind of changing up the format a little bit on you guys. We are going to have a conversation, go through topics, all that good stuff like a regular show. And at the end, we're going to give you guys some time to ask questions. Also, there's a giveaway. Adam has graciously donated one of his interesting training starter pack things, and it's like really amazing. So make sure you stick around for the whole show because we're going to be asking a question based on what we talk about. First person to get it correct wins a starter pack.
What's the answer?
I can't tell you.
I thought we were cool.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you.
I understand.
All right, guys, just a reminder, we're streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Just in case LinkedIn gets a little glitchy, head over to YouTube. Let's get into intros. Jay, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeremiah Hammond. I'm a PMP, and we've been gone for far too long, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all. And I love the fact that we have Mr. Adam Spacht as our guest. So everybody, big round of applause for Adam. I'm just to be back. So
yeah,
party.
And I'm Samantha Sierra. Obviously, you guys all know me as Sam. And I'm a former teen mom who decided that I no longer want to let my past define me. So now I'm just living life, doing the thing, and making sure that other people can lead or can follow my lead and take charge of their own life. Adam.
Yeah,
introduce.
I can't tell you, everybody, how excited I am to be here with the Cuddle crew. What a fantastic honor. I am blown away that they'd invite me in. But Adam Spacht, I'm a training and development manager of a manufacturing company by day, but by night, No Boring Training is what most people know me for, where we take training concepts, boil them down, make them nice and simple so that people can produce results, not yawns.
So today, Adam, we are No Boring Leadership. Dun, dun, dun.
Boom.
Dun.
Oh, I think we have something. Hold on. I mean, we had to bring a slide deck, right?
I love the new look. Love it.
Yeah, that was like a last minute, Hail Mary kind of thing.
What do y'all think of the new branding, the new look, everybody? Throw it in the chats. This is pretty cool. It looks, in my opinion, I think it just pops.
Bam.
It says level 21 and beyond. That's
beyond level 21.
What's up, John? What's up, Ben? We got down there.
We have so many people.
What's up, everyone?
I don't see the chat. Does everybody else see the chat like on the screen?
Yeah, I've got it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to touch anything.
Everyone is very excited about the number of slides that are part of our presentation today. It's being noted.
So if you do the math, 700 in less than 45 minutes, you better get going.
Yeah, we got this.
Let's bring it.
All right. So what are we talking about today, Jay?
We're talking about the importance of leadership training. right? We're going to let Adam come in here and bring the thunder on why leadership and training go hand in hand, and the importance of bringing that to organizations, your life, everything that you do, and how it actually gets your people motivated and tied into the vision, the mission, and everything that they're trying to do within the organization. It's a very important thing, and we lack it all over the world. So today, Adam's going to bring us his incredibleness. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Adam.
Yes.
It started off.
I feel like I get to be his assistant.
There, look at that. I started off the show with my normal introduction, no boring training, oriented towards the practical delivery of effective training. But there's actually kind of a yin and yang to it. The yin is the practical, tactical level side of training, the delivery of training. But the yang is really the strategic inclusion of training into an organizational's leadership strategy. And that's what I really want to focus on tonight and kind of prepare to talk about. So I hope everybody out there is ready to dive into that.
Let's go.
So, when people think of training, if you kind of sit back, close your eyes, and imagine your first onboarding experience at an organization, it typically falls into a kind of a number of buckets. One is it doesn't exist. Nothing, nada. Here's the cat. I was a sales guy when I started out. Here's the catalog. Go read it. Figure it out on your own. Good luck. Welcome to the company. There's your desk. Good luck. And then leaders are scratching their head. Why do they have big retention rates? Why are people not reaching their full potential? Pretty obvious to predict what the outcome would be from a complete lack of training.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, though, so often training is really sort of pigeonholed into the job roles, tasks, skills, procedural level stuff. And that's good. Listen, that's a heck of a lot better than having nothing at all. But it leaves so much on the table. And that's the point that I really want to bring to this discussion is it leaves out all the organizational culture pieces. It leaves out all the soft skills. It leaves out career development, career pathways. It leaves out the skills for not only what the individual is doing today, but what they might be curious about doing tomorrow.
Exactly.
It leaves out the organizational challenges of, one of my favorite questions for leadership. What are you worried about in 5 years' time? What's keeping you up? What's on the horizon that makes you nervous about 5 years from now? And if you just narrowly focus on the skills-based job role training, you miss out on opportunity to start to prepare the organization for those challenges of tomorrow. You miss out on all the mission, vision, value stuff. So just to kind of wrap it all up, that's when you start thinking about strategic training and training strategies. There's so much more to it than just here are the things you need to be successful in your job role today. That's good, but you leave a lot on the table.
Adam, just really quick, I noticed in all the businesses I've been in, the worst thing I've ever seen is the onboarding. So the onboarding of a company is really like, that's the essence of who we are as a company, right? So when you bring somebody on, it's like, that's your first impression. Everything that we're doing as an organization should be training that person, setting the stage for their future development, learning everything we can about them. Because when we learn about their needs, we can then progress them into the future, right? We can really understand, like you're saying, what is your plan? How can we actually develop you? And I've noticed that we are horrible at it. Like it's everywhere. People are absolutely, you can read. It's like, I want to tell people, go read a book. Every book tells you, the statistics tell you, when you bring people on and you're onboarding them, make it easy. Well, for one, make it simple. Don't make it so boring. Make it to where it's not going to, cause them, more stress trying to figure it out. Company I work for right now, and I'll say it right now, the onboarding is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my program management position, period. Like I go through so many layers to get people in. And in the way that what you see it do to people over their history of their careers, they're moving through peak performance is insane. So everybody listening, onboarding is super important. That is your essence, who you are and how you're communicating, how you're going to grow your team. And it's the first impression, which is so important in a business.
So incredibly true. And I'm sort of prepared today's discussion around the idea of onboarding and retention. I don't want to gloss over the fact that training strategies can affect a lot of other things too. If you're doing a product
Mhm.
launch, if you're dealing with some sort of competitive advantage you're trying to build, an organizational challenge, training strategy makes sense for that. But if we stay kind of focused on retention, I mean, the stats are clear. People, why do they leave jobs? Why do they leave their job roles? Oftentimes, it's because there's no defined career pathway, there's no vision, there's nothing on the horizon. They get bored. We've got some stats prepared for that. Just magically just appeared on the screen. It's amazing, this technology. I think this internet's going to stick around here for a while. It's pretty cool. Indeed just did a study in April of 23. So this is current stuff. Why do people leave organizations? Top 16 reason. Number one, people want a challenge and they're not getting the training
Mhm.
and the ongoing development. They're not being pushed and
Yep. I'm not
expanded.
growing.
They're not growing. Yeah.
Right.
And, okay, you get to year 2, 3, 4, whatever, and you're like, is it? Is all I'm doing? And they get bored, and that becomes a opportunity for them to start poking around and looking at other opportunities. Sixth most current reason, searching for other opportunities out there.
Mhm.
Job growth. How can I make more money? How can I move up? CBS did a study. 59% of people, why do they leave? Learning and growth opportunities. So there's all sorts of data out there that clearly paints the picture. If you're not developing these career pathways and showing people how to grow and giving them tools and resources and a roadmap to follow, your retention is going to be an issue. And we all know how expensive it is to replace people once they leave. So,
Oh, wow.
Mhm. And another thing is you have to, when you're in a leadership position, you have to listen, right? Talking is one thing, getting your point across is one thing, but listening to your team, listening to the people who want that knowledge, that additional job, learning, growing, those people are the ones that you really want to take interest in. Those are the ones that you want to grow because they want to be there.
Yeah.
They want to prove themselves. They want to grow. They want to see the organization become better and they want to be a part of that. Those are the people that you target. Those are the people that the more you invest into them, the more they'll invest into your org.
oh, without a doubt. And there's all sorts of studies that show that, generally younger people, I don't want to get into the whole millennials versus Z and all that stuff, but
Whoa, whoa,
generally,
whoa.
yeah, whoa, easy there. But generally speaking, younger generations, they want to feel part of something bigger than themselves. They want to have an attachment to something that matters. The the Gen Z or the Gen X go to work until you die mentality is, that's sort of a thing in the past, maybe even a boomer type thing. But going to an organization and really contributing to some greater thing and getting skills and growth that comes with it, that's a way an organization can develop a real competitive advantage
Oh,
by having a
absolutely right.
defined training strategy and career pathways and all the stuff we're talking about. So we're kind of setting the stage here that it's so much more than just here's what you need to be successful in your role. It goes way beyond that.
It's interesting, Adam, because the leadership is the competitive advantage to most organizations. How leaders effectively engage and lead their team, that's where you get motivation. And that's how we can take and increase like whatever we're trying to do and bring purpose to our jobs and our life. If the leaders can actually motivate the team, the company, everybody thrives from it. And I mean, again, it goes back to the statistics. How is it that most people don't understand that when it comes to, training or really fostering and nurturing your team and giving them room to grow and growth goals, that's how you're going to get new perspectives. And I know Sam loves perspectives, right? We all do. That's
Just a
that's
little.
how you get new perspectives. And there is by constantly growing, you have new distinctions and the team's innovating, they're collaborating, they're motivating each other, all the words that rhyme, right? And it's like you get this empowerment that then changes the organization and helps it grow through the stages of development. This is like proven tactics over time. And I'm curious, and you train a lot. why is it that organizations are just not embracing this so that we can go into the future, empowered? What are we missing? What are we missing out on here?
Well, it's a fantastic question, and I think there's a couple different elements to it. One is training, development, learning cultures. They're expensive. There's no way around that. They're an expense item. It's an investment, and just like we as people, as individuals, you have to go without today to get a return tomorrow, and that's tough. And if you don't have too many dollars in your pocket to invest, it gets even tougher to put that away. And organizations are the same. Time, things get tough. Guess what? Out goes training, out goes marketing, out goes R&D, all these other departments. And then they wonder why they're behind the eight ball. So part of it is the expense part. I think too, and I'm going to say this with all due respect, I think a lot of people are very comfortable giving presentations, or maybe not
Mhm.
comfortable, but they give presentations. So when they walk by the training room and they see an individual standing at the training room giving seemingly a presentation, they think, oh, that's all the training is. It's just some slide decks, all 700 of them up on the screen, and somebody reads that, and that's what training is. And so it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how adults learn, and adults learn clearly much differently than how young adults and children typically learn. And it's so much more than
I'll
just
challenge you.
reading off some slides and presenting some information. So it's sort of twofold. It's the expense part of it and the fundamental understanding of what good training really is and how people learn. And as a result of that, I think orgs don't put as much energy there. One last thing, real super quick. I think a lot of smaller organizations, small companies, maybe mom and pop organizations, small regional businesses think training is out of their reach cost wise. And while I started this conversation off with it's an expense item, that's
Mhm.
true for the big giant orgs. But for smaller companies, it's not quite as expensive as they might think it is. So I know that's a bit
Right.
of
Right.
talking out of both sides of my mouth, but so there's three quick reasons.
Yeah, there's ways that people can train, that you can come in and get good results by training the fundamentals based on the stage of development they're in. And it doesn't cost a lot of money.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. It just takes effort,
yeah.
right? It takes the people wanting to learn.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're all in leadership type positions in one way or another, have been. You have to gain buy-in from your people. If they're invested in whatever you're doing, they're going to learn. So if you take the effort to make them excited about learning, make them excited about training, then you don't have to I'm just guessing at this. You don't have to invest as much because now you have people who are willing to learn and want to learn.
Mhm.
You're so true. I mean, if we start thinking about the methodology of effective training, if it really starts from caring about other people and
Mhm.
Mhm.
empathy and wanting to help them grow and develop so they can be successful. That's the core of good training, education, et cetera, at least in my opinion. If you come from that place where I'm trying to help you, you don't need
Mhm.
the $1 million learning management system. You don't
Yep.
need the super duper fancy gadget. You can use a freaking post-it note and a whiteboard and do just fine because you're showing that you care. And when you get in front of that room, you don't have to bring out all the bells and whistles. They'll pick up on it immediately that you care and you're trying to help them grow and develop. All the bells and whistles can come later, or maybe not even be needed at all, depending on the situation.
Sometimes they're a pain. They slow you down.
Yeah, simpler is better, in my opinion.
Well, talking about bells and whistles, I don't know if you guys were here when we first started. I know that some of you guys joined a little late. We are giving away a interesting training, right? Is that what it's called, Adam?
Interesting training starting pack, starter
Nice.
pack. So if
Nice.
you wanna zhuzh up your training and you need some new ideas, games, activities, we got you covered.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hope you guys are paying attention because there's going to be a question at the end. Whoever gets it right first wins the prize. Sorry, I just need to interject that.
Adam, it's interesting when we talk about getting to know people. One of the tactics that I've used most in my career to lead teams, it's all about the leader, right? In opinion, and how you can connect with people. And we talked about that briefly, but literally one-on-ones and getting to know the needs and the wants and what motivates people will go a long way. And then once you know that, putting in small things that you can do each week to help them grow in the direction they want to grow, and you're going to have an unstoppable group of people. That's the simplest thing I found that you can do to train people, and you just work with them on things that are relevant in our world, take them to the next level, just real one-on-ones where you connect at that level, where it's not like, here's my bullet points and we're going to walk through a thing, or you got to read this SOP to get smarter, and do the thing. You really train them on something that resonates with them, in line with their strengths, and is growing them in a direction in line with those strengths, right? You're growing them in something that they're great at.
Well, so true. So, I mean, if you think about a training strategy to drive retention, and you talked earlier about, doing career milestones and a career development planning, performance management, all that kind of stuff, a very simple, low cost way to go about it is exactly what you said. Figure out what the common areas or common tripping points for development are. Build a coaching program for your frontline managers where, here are the questions you need to ask. Here's some skills and practice role playing on how to ask it.
Yeah.
Give them, there's about 1 million YouTube videos about effective coaching sessions out there.
Right.
And then start having them, this might be a little controversial, actually start coaching people. They're going to get feedback. Then now you build processes to synthesize that feedback back up the food chain, diagnose that, do some analyzation. Is that a word? Fancy word. Take a look at it, see what it says.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yes. I need more tropical fruit punch, brought to you by Buc-ee's. But yeah, so you take all that great data that's 100% free, and then you build the next round. I mean, again, so I'm just
So
repeating
powerful.
back what you said. There's like a gazillion things you could do that cost somewhere around nothing.
But yeah, and that's the trick, right? Right, Sam? Like it's free. You just have to do it and want and care.
Yeah, you have to listen to your people. When they will voice when they're not happy, and they will, whether it's gossip or whatever, if you are boots on the ground, if you are paying attention to what your team and what your people are saying, you will understand their pain points. Then you can address them with training, and that's how you become effective leaders, mentors, coaches. Like, leadership is not unidimensional. Is that a word? Singular. Well, it is now. I'm just making up words again.
Google. But that's funny, Adam. You even said this, and this is interesting. Dare have them coach, right? How do we get good at stuff? We do it. And we have to step outside our comfort zone, right? And the only way we do that is we have to say, you know what? I've learned this really cool thing, and we all lead somebody. So now I've led you've picked it up. You're like, hey, I got this really cool thing. I'm going to go lead this person. And that's how we start building leaders, right? Because they start playing with coaching. It's incredible. The ripple.
Well, I think it ties back into the holistic approach of a training strategy. So if a leader, is really staying connected to their teams, and they're starting to pick up, okay, we need to coach on X, Y, or Z issue, then they can be coaching and guiding their leaders on, hey, we need to dig into this, and here's how we go about doing it. And then the frontline manager goes and does it. The individual contributors are shown that the organization cares. They're shown maybe better ways to do things. Maybe the organization finds out that what the leader thought was a great idea wasn't necessarily such a great idea, or gets real-time feedback from the field that the leader may be disconnected from. I mean, there's all these great things that are going on that help the organization, but it all starts with that sort of holistic approach, as opposed to, here's the skills you need for your job. You're going to do onboarding. Good luck. Goodbye. Stay warm and well fed. And never talk, no more ongoing development from there. So it all kind of starts to fit together.
It's a whack-a-mole.
Yeah. Basically. Now, what are some of the solutions? Like you were saying, there's that holistic approach. How do you know where to start. Right? I think that's the biggest question that everybody wants to know. When it's time to start training, after onboarding is done, where do you start?
I'm a simple man, as most of my
Simple
friends know.
man.
I think there was a song about that. I don't
Maybe.
think it's any harder than an old-fashioned flip chart and figuring out what are the key developmental issues that individual needs to learn about in the first quarter of their job, the first 3 months. Don't try to teach them everything about everything all at once.
Oh, come on.
Really just focus on the first 3 months. Okay, they're going to have to get good at this basic level foundational skill. They're going to probably experience XYZ situation. They're going to probably get XYZ customer interaction touch point thing happening. Here's all the normal stuff that happens in the first 3 months. We're going to write all those out on a board. Pick 2 or 3 of them that are tied to mission, vision, values, tied to organizational needs, tied to revenue drivers, whatever's the organization's really focused on. Pick 2 or 3 of them, and then start to build some, learning training sessions that go around from that. So it doesn't have to be this super cumbersome, complex thing. Just a whiteboard, and a half an hour of talking it out loud, and you'll start to get a roadmap. And then from there, you can build, experiment, iterate, get feedback, evaluate, change, tweak, and improve.
I love that. I know that a lot of people are not of the same opinion, but I love a good meeting. I love a good think tank meeting where everybody is involved and giving their opinions and trying to really push the org forward. Where do we see ourselves 5 years from now? Where do we see ourselves 3 years from now, a year from now? And what steps do we need to do to get there? And then who needs to be, or who needs more direction in what aspects? And, I think that from a strategic standpoint, knowing that stuff and being able to build it into training, it's a lot simpler if people can understand the long-term vision as opposed to just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And one day we're doing this, and then we're going to switch it up and we're going to do that. So
rapid cycling between initiatives and strategies is a bad idea. Is that?
Yeah.
Leadership is your old thing. I know.
It's interesting. I like to go with the leadership style of like the situational leader. Is anybody here familiar with like situational leadership? Are you guys, Adam?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because when you bring people on, you onboard them. You want to use different leadership styles and different coaching to be able to effectively get them from where they're at to peak performance. And I have spent so much time over my career trying to figure out how do you get people from where they're at into different strategies and how you communicate it. And the way that you really do it is the communication we're talking about. Like, you're here, and Matt, like Adam said, you're going to be over here. How do we get you to peak performer? And what are the steps that we need to do that in? And as long as you can map that out with them and keep a record and do those one-on-ones, you can keep people motivated, especially if their mission and their vision of what they want is aligned with your company. That's a motivation stack. That's a cocktail of motivation, right? And they can, as long as you're helping them grow. That is the simple. I can't believe it's the simplest solution and it works. But again, a lot of people don't. They try to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
And I I'll go by in the comments. I think it was John Connolly. If it wasn't, I apologize. But I saw something going by about why and mandatory trainings with a lack of why behind it. And I think it speaks to what you just said, Jeremiah, which is with the stats show people want to look. Oh, there it is right there. Bam. It's amazing, this technology. It's almost like there's somebody in the background making this happen. We've already seen from the stats, people want to grow and develop. It's the number one reason why they leave jobs. We've seen that people want to be aligned and grow and get new opportunities and not just grind their life away. So if you can combine that with, as you just said, here's the organizational mission, and here's how you're going to contribute to that. And all we want you to do for the next 3 months is focus on these a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, whatever it is. And it's neatly laid out. It's entertaining. It's real. It's relatable. It's related to their success in the role today. And most importantly, the leader explains why they're doing this. It's not just a tick the box exercise so I can pat myself on the back and say, "Oh, we did the training, it's great." But I'm investing in you to help you grow. And I want you to do this because it's going to help you make the customer happy or avoid getting yelled at. It's going to help you be safe. It's going to help you be more effective, efficient, productive. It's going to help you close more deals, produce more product, get a bigger bonus, whatever. So that why is a long-winded way to get back to a simple 3-letter word. Is so critical.
It's powerful though. It's like it start like even Simon Sinek, start with why. It's start with why, lead with your strengths, right? You got to start with why, empower them, motivate them. And then what are you good at? I want to leverage what you're great at now. You want to motivate somebody, find out what they're really good at, throw them in that. They're going to be unstoppable at what they're doing. You want to deflate a new person when you're onboarding, give them something that's totally not in line with anything that they do. Like, what are you good at? I'm good at this. What are you bad at? I'm bad at that. Let's work on your weaknesses. Here, have this fire. Now you're learning all the crap and you're doing things that you're not great at. And I see people do that. They'll go in and say, let's work on your weaknesses and try to, instead of leveraging what they're incredible at. So I love why. I love motivation stack. It's a big part of who I am as a leader, and always trying to resonate with a resonant leader, right? Like primal leadership, and resonate with the people to motivate them.
Yeah.
My favorite my favorite leader of all time, who brought me on board to the company I'm on, company I'm at now, respect him dearly. That's what one of his many strengths. Focused on my positives, glossed over or did some minimization of the negatives. It was it was fantastic.
And how'd you feel? Like it was just energized,
empowering.
Yeah.
It makes you proud to walk through the door and want to do something, because at the end of the day, you feel accomplished. You feel like somebody cares.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's like, it's a very basic need for a human, is to feel like they matter, to feel like, like somebody cares. And to do that as a leader, it transforms people.
That's true.
Especially I think when you combine a strategic training plan or a training strategy from the senior level leadership, and then another element that kind of gets missed in this sort of holistic approach is that leaders at all levels are on board with this idea and are supporting it and growing it. And then you run it, listen, you're going to run into some competing interests. There's no doubt. And it's not because of anybody's bad or evil intent. It's just everybody has different job roles and different competing pressures. So you got to think about your KPIs, your metrics, and how you reward people to make sure you're not undermining your training, development, and ongoing growth, because that could easily happen. But assuming all that's in line, if you get your next tier of leadership and your frontline field level managers on board with growing, developing, strengthening, and in coaching, guiding, that whole performance management thing as part of a holistic strategy, oh my Lord. I mean, the gains you can make are absolutely amazing. Build a competitive advantage, really set yourself apart in the marketplace. Deal with whatever issue you're struggling with. Today's topic's kind of retention, but whatever it might be. I mean, you can really do some magical things.
Absolutely, you can. It's that integration, right? That whole integration. And that's another thing is if any one of the managers in your org chart are out of line with our training and how we want to bring our, how we want to foster and grow our people, it's a recipe for, it's a disaster, because they don't, especially if they're above you, they don't align with you, they don't agree with you. That's going to be your negative stakeholders, right? They're not going to be in line. And so it'll cause a ripple. It'll cause a ripple in the force, Adam.
No.
Ripple in the force.
If like anything, if it's not important to leadership, it won't be important to the front line. So if you're communicating by, hey, we're too busy to do training. Well, okay, you're going to go to battle with less skills than maybe you could have had, or
Pencil.
less behaviors, or less talent, let talent development. It makes no sense to me. We're too busy. Now, listen, there's a time and a place. Sometimes the training and learning groups, they want to do a all hands on deck week long, thing, when an email would have solved the problem. So there's blame on both sides, but yeah, having everybody aligned is super important.
Yep. That's a solution right there, right?
So simple too, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at another example, if I may.
Yeah.
You start looking at doing some data analysis and really breaking down the numbers, and you realize that maybe your retention, if we're going to continue that analogy, you start losing people at the 18-month mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about at the 13-month mark or the 12-month mark? You're doing some very specific exercises, activities, learning modules, career pathways, holistic training approaches to get ahead of that curve. I mean, you should be doing it from day one, of course, but like, if your danger zone is that 18-month mark or whatever month mark, get ahead of that curve and have people in, going into management tracks, or starting to learn skills in other departments in the organization that maybe interest them, to kind of future proof a little bit against that bump of when people normally start maybe getting a little bored, a little complacent in their job role. I mean, it's not going to stop everybody, obviously, from exploring other opportunities. But, hey, listen, if you can bump up your retention rate a few points, I mean, that could be massive.
That's huge. I've been seeing a lot of, even in the business, the corporation I work for, it's massive. And one of the things that we've lost people because of our training. It was so convoluted, and the processes are so convoluted that people have left the organization because the training itself, they were like, I would love to be part of it, but I can't learn. And so they get overwhelmed, and they get decision fatigue, and they leave. And I've seen this happen, especially over COVID, before I stepped into the program management position. And it wasn't just because we were working from home, but it was like people were more desk focused and the operations were happening, and we were pushing more of the desktop instructions to people. But then we lacked that connection and actually having these trainings and these get-togethers. And it was like it was a mass resignation, right? Everywhere. Everybody was resigning, but even that leaked into the current where I'm at now. People leave all the time because of this. They either are not getting enough growth and they're trying to leave, or the systems are too convoluted that they feel lost. And there ain't nothing worse than feeling lost. They can't get anywhere.
Ross Stevenson from the UK talks a lot about the idea of just having a whole bunch of content laying out there somewhere is almost worse, or is ineffective as having no content. Because, to your point, then it's like, I don't even know where to go. And I've made that mistake myself. Oh, I'm just going to crank out videos left and right because they're fun to do, and I can get a lot of content out. Yeah, well, that's great, but
who
knew, right? But yeah, okay, I got 400 videos in a folder. Good luck. Here, go find what you need. I mean, I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah. I don't even I'm doing my podcast, right? And I have all the episodes, and each episode has multiple tracks, and then there's videos attached to it. So it's like, to try to figure that out and to organize it in a way that makes sense for somebody else to be able to go in and find it. Like, organization is important for that kind of stuff.
Knowledge management, John.
Yeah.
There he is. John's like, he's knowledge management.
John is ready.
Configuration. Let's do it.
He just got like, ooh, yeah.
Yes, that's kind of his tell, Megan.
It's Megan just saw your comment. Oh, prepare for knowledge. Here comes knowledge. We talked earlier about good training and what that looks like, and that's not really necessarily the topic here, but I think it
Mhm.
does get back to the idea of a training strategy. If you go through all this analysis of your needs and developing a career pathway and starting to put together a program, and then the very first session everybody shows up, number one, they're already expecting it to be horrible because that's just our experience with training in general.
Mhm.
Two, if their fears are realized and the speaker comes in and just is like, today we're going to learn about, and they start reading slides, now you've almost sort of shot yourself in the foot because you did all the right stuff on the strategic side,
Mhm.
but you didn't do the right things on the tactical side. And that's
Ooh.
why before I said it was kind of the yin and yang, is that
Mhm.
yeah, you got to put both of those pieces together, and it doesn't need to be hard, cumbersome, or costly, but it has to be, or otherwise, yeah, then people aren't learning, and that's the whole point of the exercise.
Right. Right. All right, guys. We are like 40 minutes in. What do you say we answer some questions from the audience?
Just start doing a little dance.
Are we ready?
Cuddle.com.
When in doubt, cuddle it out.
What would be your biggest advice and encouragements when you're trying to make leadership experience feel more inclusive and open, as it can be with dealing with people who have different work-life perspectives?
That's a great. Is that Joel?
Joel, yeah.
That's good. That's great, Joel. So one thing you have to do is we just have to encourage open communication with everybody. What does that say right there?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to be. It's all about psychological safety. Can you pull that back up real quick? Let me just read. This is a good question. What's your biggest advice and encouragement when you're trying to make any experience feel more inclusive and open? It's just all about, I mean, in my opinion, it's just all about being open, and you have to have psychological safety, and we have to be open to everybody's perspectives, right? We have to understand that we're all different, we're all human, and we have to have a certain level of communication and appreciation for everybody around us.
Absolutely.
Like, you just have to consider, we have to represent all kinds of people and just consider all demographics and just encourage, open communication. I think that's big.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if they're qualified to do their job, then they're qualified to do their job. It doesn't matter how they show up, as long as you're, showing up and respecting other people as however they're showing up, because it's it's not your job to be somebody else's boss of how they present.
Yeah, I'm in Portland, just so everybody knows. And so everybody in Portland is who they are when they want to be it. No holds barred. We never think anything about it. So at work, anything goes. And I mean that. Anything goes. And we don't judge because we're there to do a job. And if we're doing our job, we just appreciate and understand people. And that's what gets us through. There's no judgment.
Yeah,
Keep it.
absolutely.
I thought I moved here. I was like, I came from Salt Lake. I got to tell you all this. I came from Salt Lake, and Salt Lake, when I was there, I'm a little bit on the wacky side. And I came from Salt Lake, and I was up there rocking out. And it was like people were a little stiffer, a little bit more doing the robot. And I walked in here and I started talking to people in Portland. And I mean, they were just like, these are my people. Like, and Salt Lake, I'm like, how are you doing? People are like, I'm okay. And when I get here, I was like, hey, how you doing? People are like, what's up? Boom. And I'm like, oh, what? I love these people. You can ask Brooke. I was like so excited running around and just talking to everybody because they were like, wow. They just keeping it weird.
I can like literally imagine it.
Do you be you?
What's our next question, Brooke?
I'm not sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Do you think ineffective onboardings is a key reason for such frequent turnover in organizations?
I don't think I know. I mean, and the stats show it. There's been study after study from organization after organization. I was reading something in the Harvard Business Review, I think it was. Ineffective or missing onboarding is it's almost a one-way ticket. For two reasons. One is either people walk in and realize, oh no, this organization is not organized, they're not prepared, they're you're flying by the seat of their pants, and I don't want to be a part of something like this. Or being a good person or good individual, they're like, okay, I'm going to dive in and figure it out. And they burn out,
Mhm.
or they learn bad habits, or
Mhm.
even if they, eventually figure it out, you're guaranteed to figure it out at a much slower rate
Oh,
than if you
wow.
had just had a good onboarding program. So their success comes even
Mhm.
later. So it's, whatever, if success is at a year with a good onboarding program, well, now it's going to be a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years till they figure it out. Guess what? That's when
Mhm.
they get poached. So yeah, it's crap onboarding gets crap results.
I love that.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yep, so true. And it's first impressions, like we said earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rocking my guitar right now, everybody.
Why do you guys think shareholders don't demand more investment for long-term training growth?
Ooh, I have some opinions, but I don't want to hog.
Adam, go.
Uh, yeah, I think that we're here for your expertise.
Drop it.
Training is an investment, and investments by their very nature are long-term plays. And especially in our society, long-term plays are not common. They're looking at the next quarterly growth projection and do we hit it or not? And what's our share price on the stock exchange? If we didn't hit our projections, we're laying everybody off. Well, guess what? Businesses are now reaping what they sowed in the 80s and 90s by using human beings to balance their balance sheet.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. I think shareholders are starting to wake up a little bit more, and it's especially interesting, I think, that we're seeing more tech companies, more forward-thinking giants who are putting so much energy into academies and training and support and ongoing growth. And, okay, we'll see what happens when they face their time in the crucible and they're not riding the wave on the high end. But I think it's just as simple as that. It's a short-term mentality, and short-term mentalities usually don't play well with long-term investments.
Yeah, so I'll have to think.
Yeah.
What about when, if you look at the stats and you look at the statistics and the bottom line of how much we lose with turnover and you lose this money, why would they? It's a no-brainer that you should invest in your training, and how like I think it's 71% of people are disengaged, and people who are engaged increase your bottom line by 17%. So 71% are disengaged. Think of the money that we're leaving, the gross profit and the revenue that we're leaving on the table. And if the people who are engaged in the companies who do foster great training and leadership are increasing their bottom line up to 17%, why are we not doing that? Because it tells you right there, if we go back to statistics and let the data drive our decisions, I mean, we need to understand and implement some of this data that we've got. We're in a data world right now where we can take all this data and this knowledge, Mr. Conley, and we can take all of this data and we can easily have it at the power of our hands and say, let's make some serious changes right now. It's there. We've got history. Let's not repeat it. It's crazy.
It's very, very true. Very, very true.
Uh,
Question for Adam. What about when the team does not think there's anything they can learn regarding their role, including the leaders that are there to drive sensitization?
Twofold answer there. For the individual contributors who think they know everything there is to know, you can find that out very quickly by quizzes, tests, role plays, practical examples, and you'll find out very quickly whether they do in fact know everything there is to know. And I don't mean that in a like I'm going to make somebody feel bad role. But I've heard that before. I don't need to come to this training. I've been selling for 20 years. Well, cool. Let me throw you the hardest role play I can imagine. And then when they crack under pressure, I guess you got something left to learn, huh? So yeah, there's the idea that I know everything about this, and you might know a lot of stuff, but most, business evolves at the speed of business, or however that saying goes. So the idea that, I know everything there is to know. Oh, okay. So you know all the regulations, you know all the legal requirements, you know all the newest research and development, you know all the studies, yeah, right. Okay, cool. So for do some quizzes, tests, practical exercises, build a safe environment, make sure make sure that your participants understand you're not there to put them in a bad spot or make them feel bad. You got to be very careful about this whole thing, but you can also, in a very subtle way, make them realize for themselves they don't know everything they need to know. So, I mean, we could do a whole show on just that alone. For the leaders, I mean, that's always a delicate dance, right? If you go into your boss's boss and say you're an idiot and here's 17 reasons why, that's probably not going to work out great for you. What,
Might not. Don't suggest it.
somebody give that a try. Let me know how put that in the comments. Let us know how that works. What I've seen be really successful is two things. One is do a training session like I just suggested, and then give them, do it on stealth, then get that feedback from the people who said, oh, I thought I knew everything, and Adam helped me learn 2 or 3 or 4 different things, and then just sort of casually put that into the conversation. That can be a great way to maybe open somebody's eyes that, their people are saying, hey, there's some value here and we need to learn more. If there's a leader who's just against learning, I think that says more about the leader than the need for training. And
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Mic drop.
Have we ever seen like a real leader who doesn't learn?
Not a leader,
Right.
a manager, sure,
I'm like,
but not a leader.
wow.
I know the leader of my organization. He's got a reading list that's like 27 pages long that he puts out every year. Here are the books I'm reading, and it's
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my God.
It's like every book's like 25 years of somebody's knowledge condensed into 5 hours, right? It's like the power. How to bake that cake.
Right.
So powerful.
Yeah.
It is.
Seriously. All right. So we are almost at the end of the session. I think it is giveaway time. What do you guys think?
I think it's giveaway time.
I think it's totally giveaway
I think that's
time.
a great picture, Adam.
It's fantastic.
Are we twins?
Twinning. All right. So, Adam, want to tell us a little bit about the interesting training starter pack?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was distracted by my notes over here that I didn't look at through the show. So that's, learning learning.
We did.
Yeah. We're doing it live. Interesting training starter pack. So what this contains is a number of videos, 5 or 6 videos, really aimed at how do you get participants talking and engaged? What are some practical, easy, low cost, in some cases free games that you can play to drive that participation or get that participation going and drive knowledge even further. There's PDF guides that help you set up effective group discussions so that you can get learning occurring between your participants. It's just a quick way to turbocharge your training sessions and inject some life into them. So this is perfect for somebody who is either brand new to training, doesn't even really know to start. This will give you some good basics. If you've been doing training for a little while and you're just looking for some new ideas, this will help you out with that as well.
Awesome. All right. So I hope you guys are paying attention, because in order to win the giveaway, you have to answer the question right. So what is the number one reason, according to Indeed, that employees leave their job? I feel like we should have had like a do 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 do.
I started doing the Axl Rose.
I wish I
Bubble
could whistle.
ball.
I wonder who's gonna get it. I wonder if people were paying attention because we left that slide up for a good amount of time.
It may have actually been mentioned several times.
I think it might have been mentioned several times.
Bucky's.com. I should check that that's actually their website.
Imagine it's not.
Oh my God.
I swear you need like a sponsorship or something. Come on, guys. What is the number one reason employees leave their jobs?
First person to answer correctly wins the
Wine.
interesting training.
Ooh, nice guess, Stacy, but that is not correct.
Lack of tacos.
And hot dogs.
It's on. Let's do this.
Barometric pressure.
That's like a highlight of every day. That goes to my head. It's in there, Sam.
Do you know how many DMs I get about
Oh.
hot dogs?
It's in.
How do you feel about hot dogs and tortilla wrappers?
Yeah.
Kristen out
Oh,
there
look.
saving the day. It is in fact Bucky's.com.
Nice.
Bad training and bad pizza.
We can do this.
Come on, guys.
Bad training and
Indeed.
bad-
Did a
Yes.
study in April of 2023, and we shared the number 1 and the number 6 reason why people
Yeah.
are likely to leave an employer.
Yeah.
Bad music.
Terrible music. Ooh, not job performance.
Getting, you know,
Not job performance.
it's not going to help.
What if we go? I need a button.
Yeah. I need one of those cool things like Adam has where like it has the sound effect thingies. You have one of those
Oh, the
things, right?
Stream Deck?
What are they called?
Yes.
Oh,
You need Stream Deck in your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stream Deck. Is that Stream Deck? I gotta hold on, write that down.
Jonathan,
So
poor
I'm
management is a
crazy with
great.
Stream Deck.
Ooh, Nathan is very, very close.
Wait, what? Wait.
Oh,
Wait.
Boom. Stacy.
boom. We have a winner.
All right, Stacy. I wish I knew how to pronounce your last name.
Stacy.
Excellent answer.
She's winning. She's winning every day. Taco dogs.
Stop it, Susanna.
Taco dogs.
So,
I love you, but no.
Stacy,
I never put that together. Taco dogs. You know how much money we could make right now, Susanna? And oh, sorry, Stacy, you rock. But I mean, taco dogs right now.
Yeah, poor Stacy gives us a great answer, wins a wonderful prize, instantly distracted by taco dogs.
Taco dogs. We could talk. We could start a taco dogs cart in Portland, and you don't even know. I'm quitting my. I'm gonna go talk. I'm out of here. Taco dogs.
Excellent
it.
answer, Stacy. That was, in fact, needing more of a challenge.
Good job, Stacy.
Trying to save this.
absolutely.
Taco dogs. Good.
I'm so in.
All right, guys. We are winding down. It's the end of the show. Just some fun facts and a reminder for you guys. Support us. You know, we do a lot of stuff here with Crank Up the Leadership, but Jay is also a founder of Project Revolution, which is kind of epic. Coaching, strategy, leadership stuff. It's pretty awesome. And he wrote a freaking book.
What about?
It's kind of awesome. It helped me while I was figuring out how to do my podcast. My podcast, Phoenix Forge, coming out soon. It'll be on Spotify and all the major platforms.
I'm excited about Phoenix
all that
Forge.
good stuff. I'm excited about Phoenix Forge too.
Mhm. Put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, there's been an absolute incredible amount of support from everybody, which I'm really not surprised. Everybody in our circle is really supportive, but yeah, seriously, the conversations had with the people that are on there are, I'm so thankful that I get to have them. It's incredible. So that being said, Jay, you want to take us out?
Let's go. Let's go get some taco dogs, everybody. Are we going?
Taco dogs.
No, I'll meet y'all in Portland. No, I just want to thank Adam, our first guest. It's been a privilege and an honor to have you on here.
Absolutely.
And I know the conversation went probably different than what we've all expected, but I think it was incredible. And I think the people got massive value from it. And I'm privileged to be here with you guys. And Sam, as always, you freaking rock. Adam, you freaking rock. And everybody here with us, you all freaking rock. Thank y'all for coming and joining us.
Absolutely. Adam, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Stacy, if you'll DM me via LinkedIn, I'll get you your promo code for your prize so that you can download what you won. So DM me via LinkedIn. I'll get you all taken care of with the giveaway. But thanks for having me. I am absolutely beyond honored to be on your show. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And hopefully people got maybe some different thoughts about how training can be effective. For daily tips, of course, Adam Spacht, No Boring Training. And then on the strategy side, I do have a company page, KAS Concepts, KAS Concepts, where I focus more on training strategy. So, but most importantly, I do want to say thank you both to my good friends and Brooke, who is making all this magic happen. This is absolutely a thrill to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Adam, seriously, we have had you like dead locked on as our first guest really since we started thinking about this entire show. So it is absolutely our pleasure to be able to host you and to be able to host you as our first guest. I think that you did a fantastic job, and I think that you brought a lot of value to us. So genuinely appreciate you, brother.
My pleasure. Thank you. And Tom Whalen, watch the replay. I just saw his comment go by that he got on late. Sorry to mess the flow there.
Come on, guys. You missed the giveaway. All right, guys. That is it for tonight's episode of Crank Up the Leadership. We will be back next month. We're probably going to have another guest. We're not really sure who it's going to be, but it'll be rocking. We're going to bring it up to level 21 again because that's what we do here. Rock on, guys.
Rock on. Just got 2 of them.